Okay, so here I am. I've actually put in a topic that I want to talk about instead of an emoji, which I'm going to see how much traction this gains me, but I'd like to talk about autism. It's an interesting topic. I know a lot about it. I have Asperger syndrome myself. When I was a kid, I was diagnosed with autism, and then later on in middle school I was diagnosed with Aspergers. My cousin here has autism, Asperger syndrome, and basically we are pretty high functioning and get along fairly well in the world. And we'd like to kind of figure out, well, I'd like to figure out how we can better help the autism community. Because I really think that even though there's a lot being done, I feel like there's a lot of misinformation going around too. And maybe pulling people in different ways and stuff like that. And so it's complicated because it's a spectrum. It's a huge spectrum. So there's a lot of different things that go along with it. I tend to specialize in sensory processing. The ability to see and hear, and how that information is processed in the brain. Especially since I work for the Orange County Deaf Advocacy Center. I'm their executive director, and I deal with deafness and blindness on a daily basis, as well as autism. We do have some clients with autism, and that number continues to grow. And we find that a lot of the solutions we have for our deaf and blind clients also work with people with autism. For instance, I was just contacted the other day, like literally, I think it was like yesterday or the day before, by a parent. She's a mother. Her son is autistic, very young, about 4 or 5 years old. And he's responded really well in speech therapy to sign language. And so she would like to take a sign language class to better be able to help her son communicate. And then, of course, she'd also like to receive tutoring for her son. So one-on-one tutoring, the tutor would be working with her son on getting him to use sign language more often. So it's really interesting. The different tools that we use can be very useful in different situations, especially when it comes to sensory processing. A lot of times, in the visual field, there's been cases of people with autism that, they trip all the time and can't, they can barely, do something, like they don't seem to see what's in front of them. And some of the times, there's been orientation mobility specialists who usually work with the blind and who usually do cane training will actually go and work with an autistic client. It's still fairly rare, but it does happen. And they'll use the techniques that they've taught the blind, and they'll use them with the person that's autistic. And it works. For years, I used blindness skills to help me in my daily life. Still use them today. Not as much, but I use a lot of the skills that I learned. I still use some of my blindness skills when I'm driving. Have you ever had to look down to find your cup in the cup holder? I don't bother looking down. I can just feel for it. It's not the same as knowing exactly where it is, because there's like 6 cup holders on that console. So not only am I feeling for the drink, I'm feeling for the correct drink. Which, I don't know, think you have to have experienced that for yourself. It's not a matter of glancing down and seeing where it is. I don't bother glancing down. I just reach for it. Kind of know it's there. Same thing with other things in the car. Just reach for the radio dial or something. When I'm in my own car, I use the steering wheel controls a lot. But when I'm in a different car or something, I'm not familiar with the steering wheel controls. Instead of taking my eyes off the road, I use my blindness skills to locate different buttons and stuff. And I'm quite efficient at it. So it works. I also use my deafness skills sometimes. It just comes naturally to me. And I realize, hey, wait a minute. Every so often I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's a skill that most people would not have used in that situation. Most people have used, like, the thing that a normal person would do. Well, I use something that I learned as an alternative technique, which is really good. I still have a lot of problems walking in crowds, though, without a long white cane. So yes, I can drive on the road, perfectly safe, but in crowds, like in a conference room, like a conference area, I usually use a white cane, simply because I cannot function with that many people doing random things. On the road, there are rules. You have to follow lanes and you have to do certain things. When you're in a conference room, people are just everywhere. It's like, anybody who's been in an exhibit hall of a popular exhibit should know what I'm talking about. Everybody's everywhere, bumping into everything. And my processing just gets overloaded and I end up not being able to function. So I use a long white cane in that situation. But then again, I'm also able to use a long white cane in almost any situation I find myself in, because I used a long white cane for many, many years. I also used a guide dog. Yeah, I used to have a guide dog. She ended up being retired. And I trained another guide dog that I gave to somebody. And then I trained yet another guide dog for my foster son. And he moved out and still has a dog. Quite successful. The dog and him working together, very successful team. And he had never really been able to have a guide dog before, at least not as long as he's had this one. Very, very, very unique situation. And once we get the ranch facility, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get our service dog program up and running. It doesn't look like we're going to get the ranch facility this year, because this year is almost over. But we are getting some temporary land. I do have a person who's willing to let us use some land in the desert, and I have a lead on some more land that is in forest areas. And so it's just a matter of working out something that the agency can afford. And be temporary land, and the forest land would be more for living. Like Bobby Fleener is our vice president on the board. He is willing to go and live on land that has not been developed, that has like maybe one road going to it and no utilities. That means no running water, no sewer line, no electricity. And he's willing to go and live there for a while. And to improve on that land. And run our eBay store. Until we can get the land for the ranch facility. And at which point we'll get the land for the ranch facility, then everything will be moved to the ranch facility. And any improvements he will have made to that land will probably be rented out to higher functioning clients that need a place to live. So he will get the temporary land ready to be rented out. And then the ranch facility, which will be the Richard Rowe Memorial Ranch, that will be the facility where where we will be training dogs. And I've already trained dogs for people with autism. Right now I have Chloe, and she has been trained, and she's working. She's a working dog. She's very good at what she does. And I hope to train a lot more. I do freelance consulting where I help people train their own dogs. It's a way that I support myself. And sometimes the agency, because the agency does the certification of the dogs that I help train. So the agency gets the money for the certifications. I get the money for the one-on-ones and tutoring and stuff. Because I have to pay for gas and my time and everything. Mostly gas and the car payments. Cars are very expensive. They are. I would not recommend that everyone with autism learn to drive. Well, I take that back. I would recommend that everyone with autism learn how a car operates and the rules of the road. But I would not recommend that everyone drive as their main means of transportation. And that's because of behavioral issues. And sometimes the thinking that goes into having to drive. Sometimes people don't follow the rules on the road. And you have to be responsible and take evasive maneuvers to make sure that your car and yourself stay safe and keep everybody else safe. I've had to prevent numerous accidents from people not obeying the rules of the road. And I've seen people do things that could have caused accidents. I've seen them do things right in front of me, right in front of the car that's right in front of me. And so, not everybody that has autism can handle those situations. It's a case-by-case basis. I believe that everyone should be given the chance to develop those skills if they really feel that's something they want to work towards. But I believe that you have to go about it thinking of safety first. Anybody have any questions about autism and driving? It's an interesting subject. I should probably write a blog post about it. Actually, I should write a blog post about a lot of things. Does anybody think I should write a blog post about something? Talk about something here? Like later develop into a blog post? I need to write more blog posts. I haven't wrote blog posts in a while. Okay, a long while. You can go look at OCDAC blogs, the OCDAC Deafy blog. It probably hasn't been updated in months. Months and months and months. And then, of course, the newsletter I kind of slack on a lot. I am horrible when it comes to communications. I mean, look at this stream right now. I only have 3 viewers active, live, at this very moment, according to Periscope. And I'm not sure how accurate Periscope is, because it doesn't tell me when somebody, it doesn't tell me the name of whoever's signing on. It's kind of weird that way. And I can't see comments, so I don't know why I can't see comments. Let's see. No, that's not it. Hold on. Just flip this up. No? Hide chat? No. Chat? Anybody? That's weird. I don't know what's going on with Periscope. But I do like the new horizontal video feature. Instead of the... No, is it vertical? The vertical? Horizontal's going... Yeah, I like the new horizontal feature. The vertical videos are just... I don't know. They kind of had their own little thing. Like if you were walking around something, kind of having that glance into the world type of a thing. But for recording a lot of different things and broadcasting live, I think horizontal video is the way to go, because then when you put it on YouTube, you can put it on YouTube and you can put on other things and it shows up great on the browser. And people are used to watching horizontal videos. I mean, you know, Netflix, Hulu, all those popular video services, including YouTube, all have horizontal videos. You're so used to turning your phone for it. So I don't know why it took Periscope so long to develop support for it, but I'm very grateful that they did. Anybody want to give me some hearts or something? That would be nice. I'm trying. I really am. I'm trying. It's more than a lot of people do. When's the last time you guys broadcasted to Periscope? Live. Well, actually, that's the only way to broadcast to Periscope is live. I did find watching videos on Periscope, sometimes they cut out a lot. I don't know why. So, I had a few thoughts on autism. I can't really think off the top of my head. That's why I really need people to live chat with me. Because I really don't know what you guys are looking for. If you don't chat on the chat thing, I really don't know what to talk about. Because I'm basically stuck in my own head staring at a little people icon that says 3 on it right now. Which is cool, there's 3 people. That's good. But I really kind of need to feed off of the chat, and I can't see the chat, and I'm wondering if somebody's trying to chat and I'm just not seeing it, or what's going on. I don't really know. So I'm going to close this out, and I am going to go reprogram another phone I got. I had my Galaxy S4 conk out on me. The audio went kaputs. Just, you can't operate phone calls anymore on it. So I had to get Asurion to send me a new one. And they didn't have any Galaxy S4s, so they gave me a Galaxy S5. And of course that's, the next generation of the phone that I was in. I'm grateful it's an S5 and not an S6, because the S6s are junk. If they had sent me a 16 gigabyte S6 that I could not up the memory on, I would have been beyond pissed. So I'm glad it was an S5 and I can put the memory chip in it, and I'll be able to operate that phone. That'll be nice. So now all my phones have fingerprint readers on them, which is good. They're nice and secure and easy to open, and that's what I wanted. I have 2 of my phones have 3, the max registered. 3 fingers is the max you can register on the Galaxy. The S5 Mini that I've had for a while, I only have 1 finger registered on that phone. And so it's really hard to open, so I think I'm going to have to go and register 2 more. If it will let me. I did not see that option when I registered my finger originally. Fingerprints. And phones, which is... Well, I guess if you have sensory issues and you don't want to be dragging your finger along the screen, although then why would you have a phone to begin with? I don't know how autism can play into fingerprint readers, but it's very nice to have a fingerprint reader. It is. You can see my printer behind me. It's an all-in-one color printer. I have replaced it twice. If you want a printer, go buy it at Best Buy and get their insurance on it, because I've had to replace that thing twice. And I love that it's a printer and stuff, but replacing it when I'm hoping that the next time I replace it, I can get a higher dots per inch ratio, because I think right now its color dots per inch is only like 300 or something like that, because when it comes out it looks really bad in color. Like, color graphics are horrible on it. It's not for color photos at all. I need to get a I would like to get a 2400 DPI printer for photos, photo printer specific, but I really can't afford the maintenance costs on one of those. So I've been using Shutterfly for my photo needs. But this means that for agency printing needs, if I want a higher thing, like for the color brochure we have, I have to go and I have to pay for it at Staples. I go to Staples. That's where I go mostly, because I don't know, Richard went there. Richard was always going to Staples for things before he died, so I just go to Staples. Habit. I have a Staples card and everything. And I know a lot more than the people that work there, which I find kind of scary. But then when I go to Best Buy, sometimes I know a lot more than the people that work there too, but they have really good contracts, and Geek Squad most of the time can get the job done. Most of the time. Really good for printers. And if you have a really bad computer, it might be worth getting Geek Squad. Although I have a feeling that I'm going to be turning in this computer and eating the cost of the warranty. Because it's a $900 computer, and it hasn't worked since pretty much I got it. It's been slow and then just slowing down more and more. I've turned into Geek Squad multiple times and they can't find anything wrong with it. So I may have to end up returning it. But I'm using it to upload things to YouTube and back up all my videos and photos and stuff and get them into Google Photos and get stuff into YouTube and do all that kind of stuff. And I really badly need an assistant. If anybody's looking for volunteer opportunities, I have a lot of stuff that needs to get done. We work mostly through Hangouts and Google Apps. So we do all our spreadsheets on Google Apps for like anything we have to do with calling and stuff. It's just make a spreadsheet in Google Spreadsheets, and call people and do all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can send me a direct message on Twitter at OCDAC. That's Orange County Deaf Advocacy Center. And I think I am going to go and check on my YouTube uploads. At least my cousin didn't set off the smoke alarm again, because if you watch my previous video, the smoke alarm went off and I had to leave. Okay, so if you want to follow me, you can swipe up on your screen and click my username, and then it'll bring up a screen and you can click follow, and then you'll be alerted when I post new live videos. That's all for now. See you guys later.